Welcome to Anaheim, California. I'm here for NAMM 2025, the world's largest music trade show, and I'm here to give you the experience of NAMM from the perspective of a sax player. Will it be worth my trip all the way from the other side of the world? Well, let's find out. Welcome to the main show floor of NAMM. It is chaotic in here, just as I was expecting. An army of drummers and guitarists have descended on this hall, and of course they all want to try everything. As cool as some of this stuff is, this is not why I came to NAMM. I want to see the saxophones, the mouthpieces, and some of the sax gadgets, and for that we're going to have to go to Hall C. So let's go. So I'm here with Jamal. He's from Vandoren, USA. And Jamal, you're going to tell us a little bit about your new synthetic reeds that are coming out.
Yeah. So it's one of the things that we're most excited about right now. So we've got two synthetic reeds for saxophone that are being released. One is called the VK1, which is primarily for classical, and the VK7, which is primarily for jazz. And we think they're really going to have a great response. They're designed to give you that consistency when you're really looking for something where you know you're going to get the same thing every time. Where if you're, changing climate, you're traveling, and you really need something to rely on, our synthetic reeds are really going to be great for that. So I think it actually is going to be somewhat similar to a Java. The cut is not exactly the same, but we do expect it to have that same kind of flexibility that you would normally get in a Java reed. And the strength system is going to be a little bit different. So as the strings go up, they're going to be a little bit smaller. So when you get a strength, you know what you're going to get every single time. They're on display here for the first time. So this is a brand new look here at the NAMM Show. And over the course of the next few weeks and months, they'll be distributed all around. So look out for the saxophone synthetic reeds for classical and jazz. We think they're going to be a hit.
My husband George and I are former owners of Rovner products, and I can tell you that the little circle Jeremy just did around our table shows you that we have 10 different models, and each one brings something unique to the playing experience. The original Rovner ligature was the Rovner Dark. It is still our most popular seller because it is easy to install, it's hard to break, it's reasonably priced, it performs well, it has a nice warm dark tone, it helps with intonation. You can start on the Rovner Dark in the 4th grade, and you can use it until you're in your grade because it just works. We think of it as a generalist. The Versa X is another level up, and it offers 2 ways to play. There's a little metal cradle in the bottom, and it has 2 little flaps on each side. When you cover the cradle with the flaps, you're going to get a darker tone. When you expose the cradle to the reed, you're going to get a brighter tone. So
you've adjusted it for a tall guy, not a short guy.
So George, first of all, thank you so much for talking to me. So you actually designed Rovner ligatures, right?
Well, exactly. They were developed initially by Philip Rovner, and then we bought the company a number of years ago. I re-engineered all of the ligatures, came out with new patents, and designed new ligatures.
And what's your background, George? You're a woodwind player yourself?
I am a woodwind player, and I'm basically self-taught in matters of business and development and design, so I'm a hacker.
Yeah.
What the ligature does, our ligature, it's helping you seat the reed very quickly and precisely, so you get more playable reeds. That's the first thing.
Yep.
Second thing is, this is what's very unique about ours. Because we're helping it be resonant, we're helping you feel the music. So I call that a somatic experience. With this somatic experience, we begin to feel the music.
Yeah.
And we feel it in our body and in our fingers. So our ligatures is helping you first have fun, then feel the music. And when you have those things, you have passion, then you'll practice and you'll get better.
Okay, well, I'm here at the Rampone stand at NAMM, and I've got the wonderful Claudio from Rampone. So great to talk to you, and we've had so many great chats off camera already. Can you tell me a little bit about the brand and the history of it?
Rampone Cazzani, my company, was founded in 1818, before the invention of the saxophone. I think we are one of the oldest wind instruments manufacturers in the world, and so we have a 200 plus years long history in the Alps, in the northwest of Italy, in an area where we didn't have electricity, but the power of the water. So the water mill to engage the very rudimental machineries at the very beginning, and the luck that we have main materials available like the laburnum, boxwood, pearwood, very hardwoods that allowed us to make the flutes, the recorders, and blah blah blah. Then later on we started to work with metals, and we basically could make every wind on the planet, oboes, clarinets, flutes, French horns, tubas, and very early, 1875, we started working on our first prototype of a saxophone. It's our story, which is 35 years long right now, when my grandmother was a Rampone, from the village, So we are connected, and my dad decided to accept the challenge to buy back the company. This was 1989. So he did it, and now we are me, my dad, my brother, other family members. All together we are, let's say, 20 people, and we decided to focus on making saxophones, and we started. We are trying to go back to this desire of the Rampone family to make horns available for musicians. When we step into our boutique area, we have the R1 Jazz, we have the metals, we use different metals, all of them bare metals, and then we have what I call them our two flagships. One of them is the Solista, you see it here, and the other one is the two voices, The Solista, I think, represents, we made it at the very beginning, in fact, to pamper a little bit the classical players, because they were kind of complaining with us that we think only of jazz players, and we even gave the name R1 Jazz and blah blah blah. I'm open to any type of music, of course. I love jazz personally, but that's another thing, So we thought that redesigning a little bit, or considering our Solista from the 20s would have been a great idea, and basically that's what we did. We redesigned the Art Deco engraving from the 20s we used, made it even possibly a little more pretty. And this horn is completely made out of copper. So neck, body, bow, and bell are made out of copper, but heavy gold plated, no lacquer. So we leave some of these key guards or elements vintage copper plated to recall the copper underneath. So this is a very sultry, very dense, elegant saxophone that would probably remind players a saxophone, a vintage horn that represent the tradition. If we step on the two voices, it's something a little more contemporary, but so we have been daring a little bit, because we did something like it's a mix of metals. In other words, we have the bronze, bare bronze on the body, the bare bronze on the bow, and the solid silver on the bell. Okay, we combined olive tree key touches because we are Italian and love olive oil and olive wood. I think it's quite interesting to know that this line represents the land where we live, Unconsciously, me and my workers are putting into the horns we make by hand Italy, and not south of Italy or mid of Italy. We are in north of Italy. If we would have been in south of Italy, we would have put a little more, maybe tomato in it, And so, when I had that idea to combine the two metals, then I was looking for something to represent what we created. And I was so lucky to find in a book of paintings made by a painter which is very famous in our area, which are the two church towers of our village. And guess what? The title of the painting was The Two Voices. this was amazing. I'm thinking this is perfect for my line. So we had to ask permission to the family of the painter, and the family was so excited, please go ahead. And since there, the Two Voices is one of our flagships. I thank many players that picked it for playing. One of them, Mr. Jan Garbrek, that is recording on it since maybe 6, 8, or maybe even 10 years. So many other things to say, but I hope
That was stunning. Well, I've just taken a seat for a second. Any sort of seated space is absolutely at a premium at NAMM, so I'm going to use this while I can. I just wanted to share a thought with you. You know, coming to this show, I expected to see a lot of gear, and I was thinking about the kind of content that I would make for you guys. One thing that really took me by surprise is talking to the creators behind these products, how passionate they are about their products. I've spoken to so many incredible people here at the show. As sax players, we often get carried away with the product itself. It can sort of seem all a little bit consumerist and a bit capitalist, coming to a show like this. But what's been amazing is actually sharing some of the passion of these incredible brands, the manufacturers, the people that are actually developing these products. They genuinely want to hear my feedback as a sax player. I'm really quite honoured that so many have spoken to me here and are willing to share their stories, because it's certainly given me a newfound appreciation for these brands that I've seen ever since I started learning the saxophone. I'm at MARCA, and I'm joined by Nicholas from MARCA, who's going to show us his wonderful line of... Let me do that again, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Hey Jeremy, you can see we have different model of MARCA. MARCA is made in France, in the south of France, since 1957, and we make different kind of reeds for jazz. Like one sees the jazz reeds, with the American vintage, it's also for jazz. This is a new product. It's a cane reeds in frost with synthetic fiber. We can use the same reeds during 6 months with the same quality of the cane and the stability of the plastic. It's really new innovation on the market for the reeds player, for saxophone and clarinet.
Well, I'm here at the Weissenberg stand at NAMM, and I have the A500 GL, a student level saxophone. Let me tell you, it is a really interesting horn. You can really tell the student models that have a bit of unique character to them. It's got a reinforced neck receiver, which is always important on a student horn. And it's also got a high F sharp key as well. Really nice key work, really well made. I must admit that I had never heard of Weissenberg before today, but they are made in Taiwan. They have their very own factories. They were established in 1989, so they've been around for a long time.
Hi guys, my name is Martin. I'm from Austria. I'm a professional clarinet player, and my second time at the NAMM show. It's very fantastic here to present the new MAXTON reeds, the carbon reeds, at the customers.
So these have, you were just saying before, they've got a lightness to them that other synthetic reeds don't have.
The whiteness is a little bit smaller than the normal synthetic reeds.
Yeah.
When you play the high notes, saxophone, you have the intonation is not so stability.
Yes.
It falls down, and you have a good intonation. The whole range.
Yeah. Yes. So they have more of the feel of a cane reed.
Yes, it's very important.
But if you look after them, you can play them for possibly a year, possibly longer.
Yes, you can play it a long time.
Yeah.
But you must be at the top of the reed, you must be careful.
Yeah.
Because it's the same than the cane reed. Yeah.
I just can't wait to try out these reeds. Thank you so much, Martin. It's been such a pleasure. Thank you.
This one here is the BetterSax Classic Alto. This is the one we started with. This is now selling for $799. So this is like, people think that you can't get a great saxophone for that sort of price, but we've proved that wrong. So lots of people are enjoying this. We don't make a lot of money on this one. We do that on purpose. We want to make playing the saxophone accessible to more people.
One of the cool things about this one we were talking about before is that it doesn't feel like a normal beginner saxophone. You play a lot of beginner saxophones. I've played a lot of beginner saxophones for the channel. you kind of know what they're going to feel like even before you pick them up. They've got a certain feel to them, particularly the ones under $1,000. But this feels really unique. The underslung octave mechanism, really cool, like on the Yannies, which I know you're a big fan of. And just the key work, it feels really nice and tight. It's beautifully set up.
Very well set up, yeah, it's super important. Same concept, this one sells for $14.99. Amazing value. It's killer. So many people are picking these up. We're having trouble even keeping up with the demand. Don't let the price fool you. The horns are really killer. We're just taking less profit, basically. We have this family of classic saxophones, not complete, because we're releasing the soprano this year. This is going to be released, the straight soprano this year in the classic family.
Yeah.
And we're also releasing the baritone. The long-awaited BetterSax Barry is coming this year.
And this is a classic. Classic line.
Yes. So this year, in mid-2025, the classic line will be complete.
What about bass? What about contrabass?
We have thought about it.
Yeah.
The thing is, there's so few people that are ever going to buy a bass saxophone. It'd be a lot of work to sell, 5 saxophones.
Absolutely.
This is the tradition. This is our intermediate. It's really like a pro-level saxophone, but the price is intermediate. At Sweetwater in the U.S., you can get this. You can rent this. It's an amazing deal. I made a whole video about that. I had to steal this away from somebody. And this is the Session. So this is like the for sale model of that horn, and it's got beautiful engraving, this beautiful dark lacquer, like this copper color, and it comes with this amazing pro level case. So that's why you can't really say why. It's an amazing case. And that's why I say it's only intermediate in price, really. You got like a lot of pro features in a saxophone, but at a $2,400 price.
Well, I just got out of the Yamaha floor, not a booth at NAMM, but an entire floor, and I got to try the YDS 120 and 150, and I got to say, I may have been a little bit too harsh in some of my comments about those two instruments before, but I felt that they were actually quite responsive, surprisingly so. The main thing that I've discovered about digital saxophones from being at NAMM is what really matters is the delay, or the lack of delay between your breath input, your finger input, and when you actually hear the sound. I found that both Yamahas were really, really good at that. As I was playing some scales and just jamming, I did notice a few times where the fingerings would not register correctly, and it was pretty annoying. But to be honest, with all of the digital saxophones I've tried, I've experienced a similar thing. So no digital saxophone is perfect in that regard, but I actually thought that the Yamahas were pretty good overall. Would I recommend a Yamaha YDS 120 or 150? Yeah, I think the 120 is still a better buy. It's considerably cheaper, and you get most of the features of the 150, to be honest. In terms of the other Yamaha instruments on display, I got to pick up and play the new YTS 62. There's a special edition model of that out at the moment. I'm not sure how many are being sold. It's got some nice special edition engraving on the bell there, and it's also got, interestingly enough, a heavy mass screw. It seems like even the major manufacturers now are totally getting in on the heavy mass screw. We'll call it a trend, but I don't know if it's a trend anymore. I remember when heavy mass screws first came out, there was a bit of a joke in the saxophone community that they didn't really do much, and it was just hobbyists that would buy them hoping for a better tone. But it seems to be a pretty well regarded fact now that if you add more weight to that neck and body connection, that it does result in I suppose a better seal, a fuller sound, something like that. I have not much left in the tank, I've got to be honest with you guys. I'm going to do one more sweep through the main show floor. It's about 3 p.m. on the third day, which means that a lot of the manufacturers now are going to be getting ready to go back home. For a lot of people, that means going to Taiwan or Japan or wherever in the world they're from. So there's some long flights ahead for a lot of the people who are here, and I think they're pretty keen to get out of here.
So this is a cork saver designed to save the cork longer. Is that right?
It's all organic.
Yeah.
No greasy finger.
Wow. Ah, yes, the $1 bill to get the stickiness off. That's awesome.
Don't spend it.
Yeah.
You will be in trouble, okay?
What is it about the $1 bill that gets the stickiness off? Is it because is it linen? Is that what it is?
No, this is an old trick, okay?
Yeah.
The old guy, we always, because you always carry a dollar bill.
I know, I've carried one around, I just don't know the science behind why it works.
Because the ink.
Oh, the ink, yeah, okay.
The ink is a when you feel the dollar bill, this is the ink will have a, kind of give you also the paper, okay? The papers have more fibers. It's tough. You pull it.
Well guys, it's been nearly 3 weeks since NAMM finished, and this video brought back so many great memories for me. Some of the products I saw at the show were genuinely incredible, but what I'll remember most from this trip are the inventors and the entrepreneurs and just the sheer passion that they have. We're actually in a really beautiful global community, and although it may not be the most lucrative one in the world, people are here because they love it, because they want to share their passion for saxophone performance. Now, there are so many amazing conversations I had and products I saw that didn't make it to this video, simply because it would have been several hours long otherwise. But if you want more content from the show, make sure you hit subscribe because there is some amazing stuff on the way. Did you see something from the video that caught your eye? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you to everyone I spoke to at the show, the new friends I made, the old friends I ran into. You guys made it so special for me. Now, since we're on the topic of gear, are you curious about the difference between a beginner and a pro level saxophone? Well, if you are, you should check out this video here. Or are you interested in starting saxophone for the very first time? Well, you'll want to check out this video over here. Well, thanks again for watching, guys, and of course, I'll see you all again soon.